Hello, hello, good morning. How are you? I hope everyone's doing well today. Today we have a special petition. Um, Recently, I helped facilitate the adoption of a whole bunch of kittens, and then later it was discovered that one of them had a um, hereditary liver problem, had been born with it, but we just didn't know until he got bigger. And this morning he passed because his body just couldn't process everything. So I'd like us to hold today baby Bella and his mom, Kate, who adopted him and was so excited about him, but he just could not stay in this world. His brother is doing well, and she's got his brother still. So let's send out our hearts to Kate for this loss. It's never easy to lose a baby animal, and for the spirit of little Bella. Um, we are in the month of Prajnaparamita in the Mount Shasta Goddess Temple. Prajnaparamita is the mother of the Buddhas, and she teaches us, amongst other things, about impermanence and about letting go. And so today, let's hold that in our minds as we go into our translation of the Heart Sutra. We're going to be going back today to the Narayan translation. This is a private translation by J.A.A. Narayan that was lovingly shared with our temple to be able to use it, because it specifically uses female pronouns throughout the and identifies the bodhisattva as Tara. Uttering the sound of the three states of existence, I enter a mystic union of oneness with the entire cosmos. In the three worlds, in the three times, my breath binds the sound Om, purifying the body, speech, and mind. I take refuge and invoke the awakened mind of the goddess who knows all and hears all suffering. The blessed Bodhisattva Aryatara, from the deep practices of the heart's perfect wisdom, understanding that the five elements of consciousness were always empty, instructing her student Shariputra, she says, in this world of forms, Shariputra, all phenomena are empty. Form is emptiness, and emptiness is form. Form is not separate from emptiness, and emptiness is not different from form. Always, emptiness is the same as phenomena. Potential or actual form and emptiness never separate. So it is for feelings, conceptions, perceptions, and consciousness. All phenomena, Shariputra, have the characteristics of emptiness. They neither die nor take their birth into existence. Neither are improper nor shining with purity. Neither are complete nor deficient in any way wanting. So, Shariputra, in that emptiness, there is no form, no feeling, conception, perception, nor consciousness. There is no seeing, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, nor thought. Neither are there solid forms, sound, fragrance, sensation, nor conceptual phenomena. No circle of sight, nor is there a sphere of consciousness. There is no knowledge nor ignorance. Neither does ignorance get vanquished, nor knowledge voided. No long road into aging and death, and no liberation from it. No causes of suffering, nor samsara. No stopping on the journey of joy and suffering. There is no clinging to thoughts, nor grasping. There is no attainment of anything, as there's nothing to attain. With blissful practicing of the heart's perfect wisdom, obstructions of mind move clear, and the labyrinthine maze of thought impressions and delusions of duality are liberated. In this way, the blessed Bodhisattva Aryatara enters enlightened transcendence. In the three worlds, all on the Bodhisattva path may practice the heart's perfect wisdom. In fact, we should. and in applying it every moment, find the nature of mind and enter enlightenment. So understand and see the mantra of the heart's perfect wisdom as the strongest of sorceries, as the most powerful saying of mystical and sacred speech. It is the mantra which smooths over all things, which disperses lies into its light of truth. This mantra liberates all, and it's said like this: Gate, gate, paragate, parasamgate, buddhi soha. Gone, gone, crossed over and gone, completely gone beyond to the far shore, awakened, and all is good. This ends the heart's perfect wisdom. And a reminder that this month we are working with the guidance cards by Alu Gutmila, this massive deck. And yesterday, our card was very much about just be, it's enough. You are the fertile ground of possibility, and it's enough. Let's see what today's divination brings. What wisdom would like to move through this deck today for us? Leaders render great service to the universe and to their fellow humans while attempting at the same time to work out their individual karmas. If leaders waited until they were perfect before sharing their knowledge and light, we would have no representation in the world of form. Consider leaders as fellow students on the path. Bless them, pray for them, and love them for their courage to take on the karma of other individuals through their service. Raise up leaders with your love. Do not destroy them with condemnation, neither silent nor spoken. And our affirmations today: I see perfection emerging in each leader. I am a leader, living my life with integrity, kindness, and lightheartedness. What a powerful divination today, especially considering that in our world right now, we have such a challenge with finding and supporting capable, ethical leaders. I think all of us are pretty much in the know that most people in positions of leadership in the commercial and governmental spheres are often there at a, out of maybe initially a desire to be of service, but then the strictures of society sort of bind and twist them into a kind of a desperate self propagation. And then their leadership is merely for the sake of staying leaders as opposed to the sake of being of service. Most people in positions of, for example, corporate leadership who are making, $50 million a year or whatever, even $5 million a year, it's not like they don't know that the workers at the lower tiers of their companies are struggling. It's that they have been twisted by phenomena into this desperation that gets them thinking that they need that 5 or $50 million instead of thinking that they could just have enough and that then everyone could have enough. In many governmental positions, people in leadership are forced to vote along party lines, regardless of whether they actually agree or disagree with what their party is doing. Instead, they've been twisted into this spot where, in order to maintain their tenuous grasp of their role, they feel like they need to answer to party lines rather than observing with their own eyes and nourishing what needs to be nourished in our society, regardless of their party's stance. So it's not like we don't have plenty to criticize in leaders. And at the same time, there are great leaders out there. There are people out there who are leading with their hearts, who are doing good work, who are truly being of service. And often their stories are lost amidst these other stories where we're disgruntled, frustrated, or we feel locked out of power. Maybe what we could be doing is supporting the leaders that we genuinely think represent the highest interests of this world: humanity, animals, nature, the plants, the trees, the mountains, and uplifting them so that they continue to do that work. And at the same time, holding them accountable to the continuation of that work once their leadership expands into a place of greater power. And in my own world, I mean, I'm not a big leader, I'm a small leader of, my projects and the things that I do. One thing I will say is that when you're doing something that is successful, that is thriving, the demands become greater, the responsibilities become greater, and obligations to really taking into account the needs of a wider swath of people become greater. And it's not easy. It's not always easy to reconcile everyone's needs and make sure that they're all at least content, if not perfectly met. You kind of can't please everybody all the time. So think about the places in your life where you are currently a leader. Where are you exercising your leadership? Think about the demands that are present for you. Think about what are the needs that you're serving, and really think about how you can continue to meet those needs, even if your leadership grows or scales, because that is where it's like that's the mouth of where the river meets the ocean, where all the little fish are swimming in and the big predators are waiting ready to chomp. We, all of us, have the capacity to lead, and probably most of us are leading in our own worlds in some way. How can your leadership be a loving example of a human being doing her very best to evolve, survive, and thrive, to hold space for many needs, and at the same time, to be perfectly human, which means you will make mistakes. I do. It means you will have difficult times. It means that there will be decisions that you look back on with regret that you wish had gone differently, but that you wouldn't know that unless you had made the mistake in the first place. And when you encounter another such leader who is imperfectly doing her best, do all you can to lift her up rather than to beat her down, because she is showing you how to be imperfect and still wield your gifts as a generous blessing in this world. Because even when none of us is perfect, the good that we have is worth sharing, and it does help. So that's our short bit for today, if that's what you were here for. Now let's dive into Guanyin practice. We're going to start, as usual, with 3 prostrations. Oh, and hey, I noticed that some folks have said to me, I want to log my mantra counts. I'm going to start putting the link in the comments on my Facebook daily practice to log the mantra counts. You can also find that, for those who are on YouTube. You can also find it if you go to mountshasta.goddesstemple.com. It's right there in the blocks at the top of the page. It says daily devotion. If you click on that, you can log your mantra counts as well. That way we can see where we're at. Our temple has completed over 1 million mantras. And in fact, we're closer now to probably about 1,300,000. I think I could maybe even 1,500,000. So cautiously, I say that. So please log your counts. They do make a difference. All right, let's go. And let's take refuge. Namo Guru Be. I take refuge in the inner teacher. Namo Buddhaye. I take refuge in the great mother of compassion. Namo Dharmaye. I take refuge in the wisdom of the ages. Namo Sanghaye. I take refuge in the community of practitioners. And let's set our intention, a person, place, situation, or circumstance that will benefit from today's practice. And today, holding Kate and baby Bella. And let's recite the four immeasurables. May I be a source of loving kindness in this world and all worlds, bringing a generous heart to all my thoughts and doings. May I be a vehicle of compassion in this world and all worlds, ever mindful and aware of the tremendous suffering of others. May I be a brimming vessel of joy in this world and all worlds, delighting in the happiness of others as their suffering is alleviated. May I be a balance point of equanimity in this world and all worlds, seeing all as equals and all as deserving of goodness. I light this candle as a symbol of the enlightening Dharma way. May it shine brightly for the benefit of all beings. I light this incense as an offering for Guan Xiyin, she who hears the cries of the world, mother of all. Om Ahum. 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 Reverently, I prostrate with my body, speech, and mind and present clouds of every type of offering, actual and virtual. I confess all my destructive actions accumulated since beginningless time and rejoice in the meditation of all holy and ordinary beings. Please, Guan Yin, remain until the end of samsaric existence and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. I dedicate my own merits and those of others to the great enlightenment. 108 recitations now of Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, calling out to Guan Yin and asking her to help us maintain compassionate hearts toward leaders. Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa. Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, 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 Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa. Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, Namo Guan Xiyin Pusa, Namo Guanxi Yin Pusa. 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 And our prayer for the Mani Reciter of Calm by Gyaltse Tokme Sangpo. Lama Dankun Shiksum Lak Chak Tsalo Dakni Changchuk Nimpor Chike Bar Gangdang Gangdu Kipa De Dang Der Tadu Tuje Champo Chetsin Ching Gusum Gewe Chila Chipar Sho Chamdang Ninje Champo Kunlang Ne Tuje Champo Duljar Girpanam Lame Changchu Chola Gope Chir Tuje Champo Trinle Je Par Sho. Homage to the Guru and Three Jewels from now until I reach the essence of awakening. Wherever I may be reborn in that place, may I always follow the great compassionate one and dedicate my body, speech, and mind to virtue, inspired by loving kindness and great compassion, in order to lead all Mahakarunika's followers to supreme and unsurpassable awakening. May I carry out the great compassionate one's activity. Lama Dankun Shiksum Lak Chak Salo, Dakni Changchuk Nimpor Chike Bar Gangdang Gangdu Kipa De Dang Der Tadu Tuje Champo Chetsen Shing Gusum Gewe Chila Chipar Sho Jamdang Ningje Champo Kunlang Ne Tuje Champo Duljar Girpa Nam Lame Changchuk Chola Go Pechir Tuje Champo Trinle Je Par Sho. And now 108 recitations of Om Mani Padme Hum, sending out our energies to Kate and to the spirit of Bella. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. 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 And let's give thanks for our leaders and teachers. May all of my blessed teachers enjoy long, happy, healthy, productive lives and great support for their good works. May all beings benefit from their wisdom. May they enjoy a swift and happy rebirth. And long life prayer for Lama Dechen Yeshe Wangmo. Om Swasti. Through the powerful blessings of the immortal Pema Jungye and his consort, may the three secret qualities of the Dakini of Supreme Bliss, Yeshe Wangmo, be utterly stable, and may the light of her activities shine on the lotus groves of the teachings and of beings, so that they blossom in radiant splendor. And let's dedicate the merit. May the merit of this practice and all of my activities be of endless benefit to all beings in all realms, beginningless and continuous. May all obstacles be overcome and suffering cease at the sound of liberation. May all beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all beings have happiness and its causes. May we carry the essence of Guanyin in our hearts. Namo Guanxin Pusa. And we close with a bow to Guanyin, bow to one another, and a bow to the inner teacher. And wishing you a great day. I'll be back tomorrow. Bye now.